The purchase order report for Acme Manufacturing is almost done. The developer has the logic working. But when she runs it, the invoice amount shows as 15 instead of 15.99. She checks her variable. Data LV_amount type I. She used an integer. ABAP stored 15.99 as 15, silently dropping the decimals. The financial controller's report is wrong. This is one of the most common ABAP mistakes, and it costs real time on real projects. The fix is one word. Change I to P with decimals too. But you need to know the types before you can make the right choice. This module covers the foundation of every ABAP program. How a program is structured, what the 9 elementary data types are, how to declare variables, constants, and custom types, and how to produce output. Every subsequent ABAP module builds on this knowledge. By the end of this module, you will be able to identify the 4 parts of every ABAP executable program: report statement, global declarations, executable code, and output. Use all 9 elementary ABAP data types correctly, knowing when to choose each. Write correct data, constants, and type statements including structured types. And use SY system fields, write, and message statements effectively. Every ABAP executable program follows the same 4-part structure. Part 1. The report statement. This must be the very first non-comment line. It declares this object as an executable program, and its name must match the repository object name exactly. Reports training F04_JS. Part 2. The global declaration section. This is where all data, constants, and type statements live. Variables declared here are visible throughout the entire program. As a convention, all declarations come before any executable code. This makes programs easier to read and maintain. Part 3. The executable section. Assignment statements, logic, loops, function module calls. Executes top to bottom sequentially unless a control structure changes the flow. Part 4. Output statements. Write, message, or calls to output classes. These produce the visible result that the user sees. The period at the end of every ABAP statement is not optional. It is the statement terminator. Missing a period is a syntax error. This catches almost every new ABAP developer in their first week. ABAP has 9 elementary built-in types organized into 3 groups: numeric, character, and dynamic. The numeric group contains I, integer, F, floating point, and P, packed decimal. The character group contains C, fixed-length text, N, numeric character with leading zeros, D, date, and T, time. The dynamic group contains string, variable-length text, and X-string, variable-length binary. Let us go through them in groups. Choosing the right type for each field is the single most important decision when declaring variables. The wrong choice is the root cause of the most common ABAP defects, from truncated invoice amounts to lost leading zeros on document numbers. Numeric types. I is integer, a 4-byte signed whole number. Use it for counters, loop indices, record counts, line numbers. Perfect for anything that must be a whole number. F is float, 8-byte double precision floating point. Use it only for scientific or statistical calculations. Never use F for financial amounts. Binary floating point cannot represent 0.1 exactly and will introduce rounding errors. P is packed decimal, binary coded decimal. 1 to 16 bytes, exact decimal arithmetic, no rounding. Always use P with the decimals clause for money. Data LV_price type P decimals too. P is what SAP's own financial tables use. It should be your default numeric type for any business amount. Character types. C is a fixed-length character field. You must specify the length. Data LV_flag type C length 1. Default value is spaces, all spaces, padded to the full length. Use C for single character flags, country codes, fixed-length identifiers. N is numeric character, also fixed-length, but padded with leading zeros, not spaces. Essential for document numbers, material numbers, purchase order numbers. Any number where leading zeros must be preserved. Date and time. D is the 8-character date type, stored internally as YYYYMMDD. T is the 6-character time type, stored as HHMMSS. Both support arithmetic. You can add 30 to a D-type variable to get the date 30 days later. SYDatum gives today's date. SYUZite gives the current time. Dynamic types. String is a variable length character string. Its length adjusts automatically as you assign different values. In modern ABAP, string is preferred over C for text fields where the length is not fixed. Xstring is the binary equivalent variable length hexadecimal data. Use Xstring for PDF content, file bytes, binary attachments. The data statement declares variables. You can declare one variable per statement or use the colon notation to chain multiple declarations. Data, followed by each variable and its type separated by commas, with a final period. The colon is opened once and closed by the period. Type references a built-in type or DDIC type by name, like references the type of an existing object, a database table field like T001 buckers, or another variable. Like is useful when you want to guarantee that your variable has exactly the same type as a specific database field. If that field type ever changes, your variable's type changes automatically. Constants declares named values that cannot change at runtime. Use constants for tax rates, maximum values, status codes, anything that is fixed for the lifetime of the program. The syntax is identical to data but with value being mandatory. Any attempt to assign a new value to a constant at runtime causes a syntax error. It is enforced by the compiler. Types defines reusable type definitions, not variables. The most powerful form is the structured type using begin of and end of. This defines a structure with named components, essentially a record layout. Once the type is defined with types, you use data with type to create actual variables of that type. You can also create internal tables of that type, which we cover in F06. SAP prepopulates a set of system variables called SY fields, available in every ABAP program without any declaration. The most important is SYSUBRC, the return code of the last ABAP operation. 0 means success. Any non-zero value means something went wrong. A record was not found. A function module failed. A table read returned nothing. Check SYSUBRC after every select statement, every read table, every call function. SYDatum is today's date. SYUZite is the current time. SYNAME is the user ID of the person running the program. SYMANDT is the current client number. SYTABIX is the index of the current row inside a loop over an internal table. And SYDBCNT is the number of rows affected by the last database operation. You will use all of these throughout this program. The write statement produces list output, lines of text on the classic ABAP output screen. The / means start a new line before writing. Without the slash, ABAP continues on the same line. You can write multiple values in one write statement by separating them with commas after the colon. The message statement sends a message to the user's status bar. The type parameter controls how it behaves. S for success shows a green message and continues. I for information shows a pop-up. W for warning shows a yellow message. E for error shows a red message and re-enters the current screen. And A for abort terminates the transaction completely. On Slight projects, we use inline message syntax with the pipe delimited string template for clean, readable code. The most expensive defects in ABAP development come from picking the wrong elementary type. Mistake 1. Declaring monetary amounts as type I, integers silently truncate decimals. So an invoice of 15.99 stored as 15 produces a wrong financial report. Always use P with decimals for money. Mistake 2. Using type F for financial calculations. Binary floating point cannot represent decimal fractions like 0.1 exactly, introducing rounding errors that compound across many records. F is only for scientific or statistical work. Mistake 3. Using type C instead of N for document, material, or purchase order numbers. Leading zeros are lost. Mistake 4. Forgetting to specify length on a C declaration, which defaults to length 1 and silently truncates anything longer. Mistake 5. Skipping the SYSUBRC check after select, read table, or call function. Silent failures look like empty results and propagate through the rest of the program. Knowing the right type and checking the return code eliminates most defects before they ever reach test. Every ABAP program has the same four-part structure: report statement, global declarations, executable code, output. The period terminates every statement. It is not optional. 9 elementary types: I for integers, P with decimals for money, F only for scientific calculations, C for fixed-length text, N for numbers with leading zeros, D and T for dates and times, string for variable-length text, X string for binary data. The rule that saves the most debugging time: never use I for financial amounts, always use P. Data declares variables, constants declares immutable values, types defines reusable type structures. SY subarc is 0 on success and must be checked after every operation that can fail. Write produces list output. Message sends status bar messages with type-controlled behavior. Complete the F04 quiz and open the coding lab. You will build a vendor price calculator for Acme Manufacturing using multiple data types, constants, structured types, and SY fields. It is the most complete program you have written so far. The next module, F05, covers control structures: if, case, loop, do, and while. With data types from this module and control structures from F05, you will be able to write complete functional ABAP programs. Thank you for watching.